Well, we're ready to start on the unit on group work, group discussion. And for many of you, that's a challenge. One thing I hear quite often from students who are in classes like this is that they hate working in groups. They just don't want to do it. And I hear you. Um, who do I hear that from usually? It's usually I don't want to say less mature, but the students who have not been in the workforce very much. Because you're going to find out very, very quickly that in the workforce, you work in groups. There is no such thing as sitting in a little cubicle someplace and not relating to other people. If you look at at the corporation, the leader of the corporation simply leads a big group, and within that, there are managers who lead groups. It's important to understand how to work in a group. Now, I'm talking about business, but also you work in groups in families. You work in groups in civic things. You know, you might go to a civic meeting or something like that. You're always going to be working in groups. The problem is that people sometimes don't know how to work in groups, and so they think, well, I can do it better alone. The fact of the matter is that with more people, you have more brains, you have synergy going on. There are many reasons, and if you watch the videos or you look at the PowerPoints, you're going to see more about that. I'm not going to go into that right now. I just want to point out that this is a very, very important unit. It's a unit that's going to take a lot of work. Now let's look at the unit in total. First of all, you're assigned to groups. This being an online class is kind of interesting because you are certainly welcome to get together as groups if you want. If you want to meet someplace, that's fine. However, I think you found through ooVoo, or I prefer the Google groups that you're working in. That seems to be working very well. Some people like to get into some money and pay for group, more professional group arrangements, but really the Google groups works just fine. You can meet online. You don't have to meet as an individual. For some of you, it would be quite a distance, and that's one of the reasons we have the online course, is to keep you from having to do that. Now, that being said, you're in a group. You will work in the group as you read the material, and it's imperative that you read the material and that you watch the PowerPoints for this. There is no way that you can complete this project and get a passing grade without reading this material and without watching the PowerPoints. I'm going to try to give you a few more videos, but it's extremely important you understand that, first of all, you are to meet in a group and more than once, and while you're meeting in your group, you have a task. The task is to create an advertisement for, excuse me, I tend to say advertisement, and it's an old thing of mine, an advertisement. Make an advertisement for Palm Beach State College. You are to select a target audience, somebody that you think is a target audience for the Palm Beach State College. That might be veterans returning from the service. It might be people getting out of jail. It could be people who are single moms. It could be any number of things. But you are to take a specific targeted audience and create an ad for that audience. When you create that ad, you are to use the Monroe Motivated Sequence. Now, the Monroe Motivated Sequence is discussed in the lessons. It's discussed in the PowerPoints. It's also discussed in your book. You must, listen to me, you must use the Monroe Motivated Sequence in its order. It starts with attention, need, satisfaction, visualization, and action. The first thing you must do is decide on a targeted audience so that you know what need you can work with that targeted audience. Then you move on to visualization, where you simply tell them you want them to come to Palm Beach State College. Then visualization, where you show them how good things are going to be for that targeted audience if they come to Palm Beach State College. And of course, the action step, which is simply telling them what to do. I'm introducing this Monroe motivated sequence because you're going to be using that in your persuasive speech. That is the persuasive pattern you're going to use for your persuasive speech. It's very important you understand the Monroe motivated sequence. Now, something you really need to understand. While you are in your groups, I want you to be thinking of yourself as being sort of helicoptering over the group. And I want you to think of what's going on in the group. Now, if you read the chapter, you're going to see that we talk about leadership. We talk about different types of leadership. We talk of different roles in leadership. We talk of different communication styles that go on, different communication purposes that go on in group communication. You've got task communication, procedural communication, and so forth. I'm not going to go into that right now. I just want you to know that you must read that. When you have created your advertisement, you will have been through 4 or 5 more group meetings. Every one of those group meetings, you are to, after you've met, you are to take notes on what happened from a communication point of view. Leadership, what was going on leadership-wise? What was going on in terms of communication? Was there egocentric communication? Groupthink. Groupthink is a big, big, big thing. You must understand what groupthink is. Don't think that you just know it off the top of your head. You must read that. I have too many papers come in later where people will talk about groupthink as if it's a great thing. It's important you understand what groupthink is. It's important you understand about leadership. You will find in these lessons that you're going to have 5 questions that you're going to answer. That means after you have written the advertisement, you've created a televised advertisement, and you have taken notes on your group meetings. You are to write a paper. This is a Gordon Rule paper. This paper must be turned in. You must pass this in order to pass the class. You can do very well throughout the entire class, not turn in this paper, and still not make it through the class. This is imperative. It's a requirement of the course. You must complete this paper. This is an APA formatted paper. There is information on the website and within the course explaining what an APA formatted paper is. If you need more help, go to owlpurdue.edu and look it up. We also have things at Palm Beach State. Purdue happens to have an excellent site for APA formatting. It's just important you understand this, that number one, you're going to be in a group, and that group is going to meet and you're going to follow certain guidelines, and that's spelled out in the PowerPoint you're going to look at. You are going to create an advertisement for Palm Beach State College. While doing that, the third thing you're doing is you're hovering over the meetings and you're watching for communication, you're watching for leadership, you're looking for how people participate. Everything that happens relates back to something in your text, something in the lessons. You must read the lessons this next few weeks, and it will relate to the PowerPoints. This is an intensive unit. You must read. You must watch the PowerPoints. You must watch any videos I post for it. So once you've hovered over it, you kept notes, then you use those notes to then create a Gordon Rule paper, and you simply are answering 5 questions. Those 5 questions are posted within the lessons. I'll try to post more information for you later. Right now, I think that's enough. You know that this is an important project. You know it's something you're going to have to work on. I want you to pay really close attention to this. I want you to be focused on every lesson. Look at I know some of you aren't doing this. If you look at the menu on the left-hand side, it says lessons. If you click on that, it will go through week by week what you're to do. If you haven't done this before, please, please, please do it now, because this unit is a big unit. I expect a lot out of every student uh, in this unit. I expect participation, and I expect that participation to be reflected in the paper you're going to write. So it's a very, very important unit. Now, get to work.